and their students when how to balance the screen time that you spend, how much time you spend on schoolwork, how much time you spend on entertainment, how much time you spend, you divide up your time now, and all these things have to be properly managed and by the parents, and somebody has to be supervising, especially for the younger ones.
Okay, so you're saying to me that
Mhm.
you think that when you say the younger ones, right, and you want supervision for children to all the
Yeah.
time when they're using these devices,
Oh, yeah,
what
yeah.
age group we talking here?
All right. So now we see that you see babies actually, as soon as they could hold a phone, now they have phones in their hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, but our programs actually start from preschool age, but we have actual programs that called digital citizenship classes that we have been offering for the past 10 years actually here in Trinidad. And quite frankly, we were not getting a good feedback from parents, and we did somehow we didn't see the importance of it before the pandemic. Actually, this is the first year because it's been what 8 years we have been promoting Safer Internet Day, and this is the first year many of the media houses have jumped on board, and I give kudos to all of you, for seeing that and for jumping on board, for helping us to build this awareness for safer internet, for the safer internet day, especially here in Trinidad and Tobago. And we really are trying to spread the awareness now. So we have to get more people involved. So as I say, we have programs starting from preschool all the way up to secondary school on
All right.
digital citizenship. Yeah.
So, I mean, when you're in preschool, when you're in that level of child, I
Mm-hmm.
assume that what you're doing on the internet is very limited. So, things like YouTube and games, I assume is what they use
Mm-hmm.
devices for, right? If
Yeah.
not for
Mm-hmm.
school.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
tell me, what are the challenges that you see from them being, besides, you said getting addicted is one of them, getting
Yeah.
addicted to the screen. But aside from that, what are some of the challenges that can be faced?
Right. So definitely, well, the addiction is the biggest one. If you start it at a too early age and you don't manage it, right? Other challenges would be for at that young age, if we're speaking about that young age, how do you manage or teach your children what is good content, what is bad content, what to do if something goes wrong, if something pops up, all these advertisements and things. And we had instances where, I can't remember the name of this the one where the scary thing would have popped up on the YouTube videos,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, I remember that a few years ago. So
Yeah.
these kinds of things are always there. We have to teach our children before, it's like learning to drive. When you learn to drive, you have to go through the training before you get put on the road, right? And we call the internet the super highway, but yet we send our children on without giving them any sort of formal training or education competency as how to deal with these things. So all these are things that we have to teach our children from a young age so that they know what to do. And by the way, the proper thing to do is not to close it off, it's to call the parent one time. So parents should be aware of that. You teach your children, if you come across some negative content or something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you tell a trusted adult. So that will be like your parent or your teacher, so that when they see what it is, they can now help to prevent such a thing happening. So the
Okay.
challenges I see here again is awareness for parents, for
Yeah.
educators, and for everyone involved with children and the use of technology at that age.
Now, one of the things about technology, Pundit, is that it
Mhm.
keeps evolving so quickly that
Yes.
sometimes I don't think that all parents are able to keep up. So especially,
Hmm.
let's say the grandparents are the ones that have to supervise
Yeah.
the younger ones during the day. They don't have
Hmm.
time with the internet. They don't have time with all these fancy devices. They don't even know how to turn it on for the most part. How
Yeah.
can they assist in making this a better situation, or do they
Right.
just have to go and learn the technology?
Yes. So everybody, I think it's imperative now, especially with the pandemic. I mean, we knew it was coming. Everything would have gone online. We see the government making lots of large steps towards digital transformation and all these things, right? We knew it was coming, but the pandemic kind of like have been a catalyst to have the whole thing speed up in terms of time of how many things we do online. And yes, a few years ago, when we introduced some courses for children, we actually had grandparents signing up to do the courses and to get certified in the digital citizenship and digital literacy programs that we had. So we did see at that time these grandparents who now are the supervisors, the ones supervising the children, as you say, because the parents are out working and most of them are there with the children. And we have seen an increased interest in these grandparents. You may not have to do a full course. What we encourage is people, you can join our social media and so on, like the digital guru that tips on Facebook or YouTube. And we, from time to time, we put out videos, content on how to keep safe, how to prevent some of these things. So it's just a matter of awareness. If you don't want to go the full way of being certified or knowing exactly what to do. So we have a lot of things that we have been trying to do over the years. And thanks to programs like this and stations like yours, now the awareness could reach even a larger audience.
Yeah. You mentioned before, if something bothers you or you see something that bothers you, you should call a
Inappropriate
parent,
content. Yes.
call a trusted adult, right? I'm
Yeah.
curious as to your opinion or your take on using the security services or parts of the device. So I know that there are parental
Right. Yes.
controls on devices
Yes.
or even on your Wi-Fi modem at home sometimes. You have
Exactly.
that option of parental control. Do you recommend that, or should it be that
Yeah.
you train the child and not have to worry about putting a lock on things?
Right. So as we said, we have age appropriate things that you do. So the first thing actually what we recommend is something called a parental contract, where the parent and the child will sit down together. And actually, since we had an article last week in the Newsday, and that article, we have been getting a lot of requests from parents how to do that contract. So that's the first thing, to sit with your child and speak about use of technologies and what they're allowed to use, how much time they're allowed to be on, what are the consequences of breaching the contract, and all these things are conversations parents have to have. So we have parents asking us how to do that. So we plan to have a webinar next week. So you can stay tuned to our social media. So we'll have more on that, on how to discuss these things with your children and how to have that contract. Yes, according, the younger the child, the more parental control you have to use, because I mean, as the older they get, you have to let them, they will require less parental controls from the devices themselves. So the younger they are, and one of the things I mentioned in that interview for the newspaper is that many parents are not even aware that their modems have parental controls in it. And the ISPs are not even making that known to the subscribers who are paying for the service. They have this free service. I don't recommend going out and paying for, if you could afford it, and if you can, you can go and pay for parental controls. But other than that, we have free controls, as you say, on the mobile devices. How many people are aware of it? How many people are aware that these things are there, even, and especially the ISP one with the modems that you're paying for, it's there, and nobody's telling you it's there to use it.
So
But we do
just call,
recommend that you use it for the young.
So do we just,
for the
if we
younger
call
ones.
up the service provider, we should be able to find out that information, yeah?
I would really like to know. I have never done it to see if they are aware, or even if when you do that, if they will, assist you in setting it up.
All
But
right, well,
maybe
that's
that's
the next
something we
step
could
then.
look at to assist if well, then we will have to probably we could probably assist in looking into it and guiding people through.
Are you
Maybe I
suggesting,
could.
are you suggesting that you're gonna hack the modem?
No, it's not a hack, because you have the username and the password to go into the modem, and these
Ah,
controls
okay.
are there,
All
and they
right,
are
okay.
there as part of the advanced setup
All
in the
right, I
modem.
hear you.
So it's not a hacking. It's just advising people that this is how you log in and this is how you set your parental control. We could do something like that.
Yeah. Pundit Maharaj, do you think it's going to get worse as we get into things like the metaverse and virtual reality?
And no, well, that's what. I wouldn't say it's going to get worse. As I said, the technology is here. Technology is here to stay. Now, in terms of things like the metaverse and so on, this is why things like the digital citizenship is so essential for children to especially learn these. We call it life skills. Being a digital citizen now is a life skill. So it's something that we really need to have. And on the Trinidad and Tobago Internet Governance Forum recently, I headed one of the expert panels on this discussion. And we were lobbying for things like digital citizenship, which is in the curriculum of the schools in first world countries. We should have things like these, and we should be preparing our children for things like that, for anything to come in the future in terms of technology like the metaverse.
Well, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning, Pundit. I'm going to leave it right there. I think I agree with you 100%. We need to be preparing our children for what is to come and put it in the school curriculum as well. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, Pundit.
Thank you so much. And I welcome the opportunity. And, to build the awareness, we could make the season a more regular thing, maybe, weekly or fortnightly, and we could do more tips and help. The more people we could help, the better, right?
I hear you.
Thank you very much.
Well, we'll look into it.
Have a good morning.
Thank you. You too. Take care.